Spooky season just finished, but let's talk about this seriously frightening case. Peyton Lutler was a 12-year-old girl living in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and she was best friends with two of the 12-year-olds, one named Morgan, who she'd known since 4th grade, and the other named Anissa. The girls, like most 12-year-old girls, enjoyed sleepovers, and on the 30th of May 2014, which was a Friday night, the three girls had a sleepover at Morgan's house. With girl talk, midnight snacks and late night gossip, the sleepover was normal by all accounts. And then, the following morning, Saturday morning, the girls decided to go to the local park. The three of them walked together, and upon approaching the park, Morgan and Anissa suggested playing a game of hide and seek in the forest nearby. Now, Peyton didn't want to. The forest isn't exactly the safest place in the world for three kids, and she had just an off feeling about it, but Morgan and Anissa insisted, so the three eventually headed into the woods. The game of hide and seek begins with Morgan counting while Anissa and Peyton went to hide. Now, Anissa told Peyton to lie down and cover herself in leaves as it would be a good hiding place, but Peyton just gets a bad feeling and something isn't right. Anissa persists that she should get down on the floor and hide under a pile of leaves, and Anissa manages to get her on the floor and sits on top of her. Peyton starts feeling the pressure from Anissa's body and tells her that she can't breathe properly and she needs to get off, but Anissa ignores her, and then all of a sudden she hears the girls talking to each other. They say, "Now, go crazy." The next thing that Peyton feels is a knife being plunged into her over and over and over again. She's suddenly being violently attacked by the two people that she trusted the most, her best friends. Confused, frightened and in pain, she's in the middle of a forest and nobody can hear her screams. When Morgan and Anissa are finally finished their bloody and savage attack attempting to kill their best friend, they left her to die in the forest alone as they headed out. A short while later, a cyclist is out riding when they stumble across the 12-year-old who's covered in blood, fighting for her life. By some miracle, she'd managed to crawl out of the forest. The cyclist calls emergency services immediately. Peyton is taken to hospital and she's taken into surgery to save her life. Before she goes under though, she manages to tell police that her best friends did this to her. Police begin their search to find the two children while Peyton fights for her life in that hospital. And they managed to find them fairly quickly. They'd managed to walk 5 hours away from the forest. They're both covered in blood completely and they're brought into the police station to be questioned. There was no denial from the girls about what they'd done. This was never a case of trying to find out who did this to Peyton. It was always a question of why. Why on earth would a 12-year-old choose to start randomly stabbing to death their best friend in the middle of a forest? Where would they get this idea from, and just why? Now, the reason why they did this is the second most terrifying part of this case. Whilst being questioned, Morgan told the officers that she did this because she was scared. Anissa had told Morgan that if they didn't kill Peyton, they could get her or killed themselves. She said that they were scared of him. But who was him? Who was this man that the girls were so terrified of that they felt like they needed to kill their best friend or else he would do something to them? Well, the truth is this man was Slender Man, a fictional horror character, a faceless man with long arms and legs and tentacles that preys on children. He was actually created on a creepypasta story, a literal fictional horror story character. Anissa had become completely obsessed with the Slender Man character in the story, and she genuinely believed that he was going to come after her and Morgan. Now, according to the stories online, there was one way that you could save yourself from Slender Man, and it was if you sacrificed another child. If you killed the other child, you'd be worthy to him and he wouldn't take you. So the girls said that they felt like they had no choice but to kill Peyton in order to save themselves. I mean, it's beyond obvious here that there are serious mental health concerns for both of the girls, but Morgan in particular came across as so calm and calculated and far too relaxed while she was covered in her best friend's blood, who, by the way, at that point in time, she believed was dead lying in a field somewhere. Whereas Anissa came across a lot more genuinely frightened and stiff as she explained the tale of Slenderman to the officers. Meanwhile, in hospital, Peyton's parents are told that if the blade had gone barely a millimetre further into Peyton, she would have immediately died. But she was fighting, and she was fighting hard, and she was surviving. She would go on to make a fantastic recovery with many physical and mental challenges to face. Morgan and Anissa were found not guilty by mental disease or defect and committed to mental health institutions for 25 years to life, yet already now in 2022. After actually having only ever served 7 years, Anissa is now out and she is under some kind of supervision. After going through such a terrifying ordeal, I honestly wish Peyton all the best in life. I do of course hope the girls can get the help that they so desperately need. Make sure to like and follow for more content.